Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
إن الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا يرضى وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد. Family. Man, I missed you guys, man. I missed you guys a lot, man. You know, when I announced 2 weeks before Ramadan that I was sick, I got so much love and support from my subscribers, from, you know, on Facebook and whatnot, that it was really humbling. And I just want to, you know, ask Allah to reward you guys and to bless you guys. And honestly, I was humbled. I was, you know, I just want to express my gratitude to my followers, my subscribers. You know, you guys make all of this worth it. All the hell I catch from, you know what I'm saying? But mashallah, may Allah reward you guys. May Allah accept your fast in Ramadan, and Allah accept your prayers. As you know, most of you, anyway, if you guys know me, that I don't really post anything in Ramadan on social media or on YouTube or anything like that. You know, I just kind of like stay with my family, make my ibadah and whatnot in Ramadan, because I don't want to be a distraction for the people. However, this video, it's not so much of a distraction. I'm going to do something different, inshallah. So before we continue, like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to do a reaction video to Sheikh Uthman Farooq. Now, if you guys don't know who Sheikh Uthman Farooq, if you remember, many times I told you that I like about maybe 5 YouTube channels. And Sheikh Uthman Farooq just happens to be one of the 5. You know, even though he himself doesn't have his own personal YouTube channel per se, like he's on a YouTube channel called Masjid Rabat, and another YouTube channel called One Path something, One Message Foundation, right? So he's on these 2 YouTube channels as far as I know, right? So he has his team that they record his videos. But one thing that he does is that he does DAWAH videos. Now, if you want to see the background of I strongly suggest that you guys check out his bio, because the Sheikh was a gangster. He was a legit gangster in LA, right before he started making talib al-ilm. And on top of that, he's Pakistani. And on top of that, you know, he started seeking knowledge in like his 20s and stuff, and he still became a sheikh. You see what I'm saying? So his story is so inspirational, and what he does in terms of dawah is so real. Like, he's just a real guy, you know what I mean? That I just love his channel, because he's actually making dawah. He's not like sitting in the masjid and, you know, sitting behind a library and just talking to the people like that. I mean, he teaches people Islam, yes, he does that, but he's out calling the people to Allah. Like, he's out in the streets, he's like out there, you know what I mean? And if you see him, he's so unassuming. Like, he just looks like a dude. But once you get into his bio, you'd be like, no, this guy's like a real guy. And that's how he's able to talk to, because he understands the people who he's talking to, right? So his dawah channel is so amazing that I actually watch his dawah channel quite often. And that just happens to be one of the 5 people I recommend. And we're going to do a reaction video to one of his videos today, because he got visited by 3 of the most popular Christian apologists who tried to ambush him. David Wood, Sam Shamoon, and Anthony Rogers, if you guys know those personalities. So like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. I love you guys. You know, it's all love here, right? And let's get right into it.
How you doing?
How you doing, my friend?
Good.
We're just waiting for my buddy David.
Oh.
So you got your footage, we're gonna have our footage.
Whose footage?
Huh?
Whose footage?
David's recording, you're recording, right? You got
Who's
recorded? You know who's recording.
Who's David?
David Wood? Let me be the first to apologize for their tardiness.
Oh, it's all right. We're here all day.
We're here all week.
Feel free. It's all free.
That's right.
You know Bilal Phillips?
I like his voice.
You like it? Yeah, it's got that deep voice.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Good, good. Are we fisting or?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right, we good?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good to meet you. COVID, I know it's got to be 6 feet.
Yeah, 6 feet. Yeah. So you guys Christians, I'm assuming?
You know who we are.
I don't know who you are.
Oh,
Why would you assume I know who you are? Are you famous?
Well, we showed up yesterday, and you guys here said that Sam said he was going to come by, and they're like, "Why you didn't come by earlier?"
You're Sam?
No, this is Sam. Come on, man. You know Sam.
I don't know Sam. Oh, wait. Look, I don't know if you guys...
Now you see this right here, that's real. That's real. The Sheikh really doesn't know who they are because he doesn't watch YouTube videos. You feel me? So these guys right here, these three apologists, apparently they've been planning this whole thing for a month to come and ambush the Sheikh, and the Sheikh doesn't even know who he is. How do you know they're trying to ambush the Sheikh? Let me show you something. Sam Shamoon tweeted, "Pray warriors, pray for me, David Wood, and the rest of the team for miraculous intervention today, since we're going to confront and record our encounter with that Mohammedan fake, Uthman ibn Farooq, and the One Message Foundation in order to silence his lies and blasphemies against the Lord Jesus, Muhammad's God and Judge." Now, we're going to come back to this later, right? You're going to see why in a minute, right? "Ask the risen Lord to keep us safe and to anoint our words and to enable us to be able to have actual discussions where we expose the lies of Muhammad without this turning into a shouting match or a riot." Okay? His own words, okay? "May the risen Lord purify us, glorify him, and never bring shame or dishonor to his all holy name. Thank you, saints." Okay? So anyway, this is like, I believe it's the same day or maybe the day before they're going to see Sheikh Uthman. You understand? But the point is here, he clearly calls Jesus Lord. He said Jesus is Muhammad's God and Judge. Right? So the whatchamacallit, that also insinuates that he's everybody's God and Judge, right? If you're going to say that. Correct? And he doesn't want this to turn into a shouting match or a riot, right? His own words, okay? "And may the risen Lord," meaning Jesus, "purify us to glorify him and never bring shame and dishonor to his holy name." Okay, so the whole point of that is, of me saying all that, is that they believe that Jesus is God, okay? But that's going to come up later. You're going to see why in a minute.
No, my name is Uthman.
Osama Abdullah?
No, I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay.
He's joking.
My name-
He's joking. We know who you are.
Oh, you know who I am?
Yeah, we saw a video.
Oh, you're just being funny.
Yeah,
I like that, Hasu.
He's not very good at it.
So you're Hasumu
Not
then?
very good at
No,
it.
I'm not a sumo wrestler.
You're not Hasumo?
Yeah, no. That's,
What's your name?
my name is Osama Shamoon.
Hasamu?
Yes, sir, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to get to know who you are, bro. Why you all... Hey,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Calm down, yeah.
What? I just asked him.
I know, but you were acting like somebody was getting up at you. I think
Oh, no.
good conversation.
Yeah, let's have it. So you are
David, I'm David.
David
Wood. Yeah.
Hammer Time.
What's that?
They call you Hammer Time, right?
Yeah, some people do.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's you.
You do know.
I see.
No, somebody told me about you, so that's good. Whose footage?
Dave's recording, you're recording, right? You got
Who's-
recorded? You know what you're recording.
Who's David?
David Wood?
Let me be the first.
Meet you. Nice. You guys flew to San Diego?
Be a gangbanger down here in San Diego.
Oh man, you know
He
me.
was too. He was too.
You were?
What did they call you down
I don't know if I should be telling you, man. You were a gangbanger?
They called him Hammer Time. What did they call you?
They called me Shooter.
Shooter. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. We're on even playing field then. I was called Crook.
Crook?
Yeah.
Were you a crook?
He was a car thief.
Oh. What gang were you from?
I lived up in Orange County, but also
What barrio?
ran around in Inglewood Mafia, those sorts of things.
Were you blood, crib, essay?
More of an essay type gang.
Nice. Cool.
But my background is Sicilian, just like. You're Pakistani, right?
Yeah, I'm Pashtun, yeah.
So we're both guys sort of out of our own water in a sense, but we.
I feel you.
I'm in different.
Yeah. That's cool. What's your name?
My name's Anthony.
Anthony. Nice to meet you. So are you guys Christian then, or Catholic?
Yeah,
Are you?
I've seen one of your videos. You might have seen more, but I saw one video. It popped up. It was because you mentioned Christian Prince.
Okay.
And it was where you said you challenged him to a debate. You said you debate anyone. So
anyone.
So we decided. We know Christian Prince is not going to come down. Like,
Okay.
He's not comfortable revealing his identity.
Why?
But
I mean, you're here. Nobody's.
If we knew.
That's a good question for Christian Prince, right? That I mean, you guys are here. Anybody harming you? Anybody attacking you?
I don't think that's the. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't speak.
Is he like on a sex registry somewhere? Like, is there a problem with showing his face? I show my face. I don't have a
I
problem.
know a lot of
You're here.
that show their face, but
Right. So why would he be ashamed of showing his face?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason though.
What do you think the reason is? Scared, maybe?
Maybe he's a professional business. I actually know some Muslims that are like this. A lot
Really?
of Muslims they just don't want to.
Muslim debaters or YouTube guys? I think they all show their face, right? I don't know.
I know quite a handful of people that just like to. This isn't. They're not interested in becoming public figures per se, but they do like to engage the discussion.
All right.
I'm sure in their own.
Good to see you back.
I'm sure in their own context they're known. How could you not? If you engage people, then you're going to be known, at least in your context. But they don't.
Right, but I think
National attention.
I think every Muslim YouTube da'i shows their face. I don't know if any that don't, right? So I'm just wondering
Back
why.
in the day, for example, Yahya Snow.
I never heard of that name before in my life.
But I used to. I mean, I've been engaging people for at least 20 years.
Wow, man, you got experience.
Well, that's not my point. My point is just I know Muslims who preferred not to, and that was just what it was. And I thought,
Okay, so let me just get to know you as what kind of, because different kind of Christians, I was explaining to, we get all kinds here, right? And I've never watched any of your videos, so I don't know you. So I want to get to.
I am a Presbyterian pastor, so I'm a Reformed Christian.
So do you believe Jesus is God, or do you believe Jesus is the Son of God?
I think that's a false antithesis.
Just a question, honestly.
Well, yeah. So the answer.
Now you see what happened here, family? Just from this one statement that Anthony Rogers said, Anthony the Crook Rogers said, that he, the one that might be from essay gang, just from this one statement, we can unpack so many different things. Those of you who haven't made Street Dawah, just let me break it down for you. First of all, why did he say that he sees this as a false antithesis? Right? Bringing out the big words, antithesis, a 4-syllable word, bringing out the big words, trying to make himself sound intelligent. Why did he do that? It's because he has experience debating Muslims. Are you understanding me? He has experience debating Muslims. He doesn't believe that this is a false antithesis, not at all. He's trying to divert the argument into something else so that they can take the pressure off of talking about God or Jesus being God or Jesus being the Son of God directly. Because he knows if he gets involved into that argument, he's going to get crushed. Are you understanding me? So he starts off with a lie off the bat. Yes, I called it what it is. It's a lie. He doesn't believe what he just said. He started off right at the beginning with a lie. And in civil discourse, any situation in civil discourse, once you start off just like this, you've already lost the argument. You understand? So he's already lost even before Sheikh Uthman Farooq even said anything, because he's not willing to be honest. It's a simple question. What does the question have to do with an antithesis? You understand? Either Jesus is God or Jesus is Son of God, or is not either. He's something else. So Sheikh Uthman Farooq, he's trying to get direct to the point, like right off the bat. My man is talking about false antithesis. And remind you, I said that he's lying. He's lying. He does not believe what he just said. What do you mean he's lying, Bilal? Make it make sense.
is that there are various passages that we can refer to by which we can affirm that Jesus did indeed indicate that he was God. And some of them weren't necessarily a matter of him making some declarative statement to that effect, but it was in demonstrating through his actions. He had these different miracles that he did that affirmed, hey, you know what? He's pointing to the fact of his divinity. When it talks about like the water was stopped and so forth, excuse me, the storm, was stopped and say, well, what manner of man is this who can cause the seas to pause and all this kind of stuff? As a matter of fact, I remember you were here last time, I think it was the book of Mark, where you walk through the various different miracles and actions of Jesus that a first century Jew, particularly knowing, what was revealed in the Old Testament, we're looking at like, oh man, these are red flags of divinity here. So again, Jesus, in terms of his earthly ministry, didn't declare anything about himself in terms of some sort of proclamation. He proclaimed himself through his actions, particularly the nature of the miracles that he did, which indicated his divinity. And then he also made references to, the Old Testament scriptures in terms of him being the Son of Man and so forth, that were also indicative of him being divine in the same sense that the Father is. So, but I want to throw this to you, man. I'm sure you run into this a lot. So like when you do, how do you come back at that?
The questioner assumes the Father is God. Right, and he wants us to show that Jesus used this language. Well, let's turn the question back on the questioner, and I mean that respectively, but respectfully. But where does the Father in the Gospel, since we're talking about Jesus in the Gospels, where does the Father say, "I am God, worship me"? I can tell you of a certainty, you will never find it. There is no such statement. We do find Jesus telling people to worship the Father. We find the apostles telling people to worship the Father, right? But that's the same sort of thing that we find when it comes to Jesus, right? We find apostolic proclamations to this effect. We find prophetic statements to this effect. So if the questioner's assumption were valid, then it wouldn't only disprove that Jesus is God, it would disprove that the Father is God, because you never have the Father speaking that way. Ironically, you do have the Father saying about Jesus that he is God and that you're to worship him, right? So surely if the assumption of the question is the Father is God without question, but not Jesus, so we need proof that Jesus is. So if that's the assumption, then if we can find the Father saying it, then that should be sufficient, right? So for example, in Hebrews 1, verse 8, the Father says about the Son, your throne, O God, is forever and ever. So the Father calls the Son God. In verse 6, just 2 verses prior to that, the Father says about the Son, let all the angels of God worship him. So here we have, in the space of 2 or 3 verses, the Father calling Jesus God, commanding the heavenly hosts to worship him. If the heavenly hosts, who are higher than us, are commanded to worship him, how much more are we required to worship him?
So how come when this dread asks you directly about Jesus being God or whatnot, you have all these answers, all these Bible verses, the inhabitants of the heavens worship the Son, so how much more us, and all the kind of stuff. You're ready for dready, but as soon as Sheikh Uthman Farooq just asks you a simple question, is Jesus God or is he the Son of God? All of a sudden it becomes a false antithesis. You see how these people play games? So you would rather, and this is exactly what they do. They rather lead people down these convoluted, torturous black hole of circular arguments than actually have an honest discussion, because he already has experience talking to Muslims. That's why he's doing that. He has to start off lying in order to save himself from the embarrassment of the Jesus is God, Jesus being the Son of God argument, because he knows he will get smashed. So he has one way of approaching the Christians and a different way of approaching the Muslims, especially those who are experienced in dawah, which is important why you guys need to get experience in making dawah, so that you can know these things. And if your masjid doesn't have a dawah program, dump that masjid. Don't give any more money to that masjid. Straight up. But that's not all. You see the cameraman here? Doesn't he look like the same guy that asked Anthony Rogers these questions? He looked like the same guy, right? So why didn't he jump in and say, no, Anthony Rogers? No, Anthony. Tell him what you told me that day that we did the video and you posted out all these Bible verses showing that Jesus is in fact God. Show him that. Why didn't he jump in at that time? Because they know what will come after that. But wait, there's more. Look at this, y'all. Jesus is God, Anthony Rogers and David Wood speaking on this subject for 2 hours. And when Sheikh Uthman Farooq asked them, is Jesus God or the Son of God, they couldn't just come out and say Jesus is God.
All right, well, we are here to talk about the deity of Christ.
I said I'd come back to this one, and here it is. Sam Shamoon. Sam Shamoon, what does he say on this glorious, miraculous intervention day? What did he say? He's out here talking about, asking the risen Lord, this Lord, to keep us safe and anoint our words and all kind of stuff, praying to Jesus, like hours before he goes to debate Sheikh Uthman. Praying to Jesus, may the risen Lord purify us, glorify him, and never bring shame or dishonor to his holy name. Thank you, and thanking the saints. Yet where were the saints to come and stand up for your Lord Jesus Christ when Sheikh Uthman Farooq asked you directly, do you believe if your Lord is actually your Lord? You're all lions in front of the Christians, you know what I mean? Yes, prayer warriors, you know, you're the lions. Rah, rah. But as soon as you meet Sheikh Uthman Farooq, you turn into meow. Yeah, fill in the word. Look at this, Sam Shamoon in the back. 1, 2, David Wood. 3, Anthony Rogers. And possibly 4 with Dreddy over here, right? Because I do believe that he's the same guy that was in that video with Anthony Rogers. All 4 of them right there, all behind the scenes. Jesus is loud. Jesus is loud. Hallelujah, saints. And all this, you know, zeal and vigor with Bible verses, everything like that, you know, for the Christians. But as soon as they meet the Muslims, maybe it's a false antithesis. And none of them said anything. None of them said anything. Anyways, continuing.
Is it's a false antithesis.
That's not what you said, but okay.
In a Jewish context, to be the son of, to have the nature of, the one that you are the son of. And so in Christianity, the son of God is by nature God.
Okay.
But without division, right?
Without division. So they're the one.
They're one. They're absolutely one in their essence.
Okay, so God, Jesus is one.
Right. So they don't have parts, for example, as in Islam, where God has multiple parts.
God doesn't have parts.
Attributes. So you don't believe Allah has a face?
Okay, let me explain that to you.
Do you?
Can I?
Wait a minute.
You asked a question. Can I answer it?
Yeah, you asked me a question a minute ago. Then you faulted me for not just directly answering.
I'm directly answering if you let me speak. Okay, so you see this? You see this?
Let's just be clear with the question.
He's just clarifying the question.
Let's be clear what the question is, and then I'll let you talk. Face, eyes, hands, shin, foot, or feet. Does he have those attributes, those qualities? And I'm not asking you to describe what those qualities are.
Are you done with your question?
My question is, does he have multiple attributes?
You see why you're not letting me answer, right? Okay, thank you. So can I speak? Okay, so as I listen to you, please listen to me, okay? Allah is one, undivisible, okay? Ahad, he is the one that is one without two, okay? He has sifat that are all his.
And sifat?
Can I finish? I'll explain it. No, I don't need you to define it for me. Thank you.
I'm asking you to.
I will.
Okay.
See, when I asked you to let me speak, you interrupted me again. But if you just let me, don't be insulting towards me. Let me speak.
You're being insulting. All I'm asking you to do is.
Am I being insulting or am I trying to answer here? Wood? Am I trying to answer or am I being insulting?
I think you just want to. A lot of
look, if you want my answer, you have to listen to my answer.
Yeah, I'm just explaining what he's saying. A lot of your viewers are going to be familiar with terms that our viewers might not.
I'll explain it if he lets me.
Okay. So you need to know. I need you to explain it.
When you speak, I'm going to listen. When I speak, you can listen. And then if you would like to get a clarification after I'm... See, again, look at this, right? He doesn't want me to speak. Let your audience see this.
We've already agreed.
That you won't let me speak.
You won't tell us what
I will if you listen, okay?
Go ahead.
If you need a clarification afterwards, please wait for me to finish and then ask me to clarify. Is that understandable? Can we have a...
You see that? This is, like I said, this is disease. He started off with a lie, and then he accuses Sheikh Uthman of not explaining what Sifat is. And he's literally there explaining to Sifat. But there's another point I wanted to make here. This guy here, he knows very well there's a difference between Sifat or attributes and that or essence. Every human being understands this. You understand? An attribute of a thing is not the essence of a thing. You understand? The essence of a thing, it may have certain attributes, like a red car, you know what I mean, with black seats. But the black seats aren't the actual car. It is an attribute of the car. He knows this very well. But why is he bringing this up? The only reason why he's bringing this up is that he wants to parallel that Jesus being one with the Father as an attribute of God. That's what he wants to do, and he's doing this by introducing this argument with the attributes of God having shin and eyes and hands and these type of things. You understand? So it's a semantic game that they play. Instead of going right to the root of your belief, this is what they do.
Civil discussion
gonna
here.
tell us about
There we go
Sifat.
again.
You just asked
Okay.
a question. I answered.
Your own buddy is telling you let him answer, bro. Let him go.
what he said.
Thank you. Thank you. At least you want to hear it. Okay. So when you talk about sifat, they are of Allah's characteristics. They're not divisible. You cannot take the hand away from the face. They are all a part of Allah. Okay?
Part?
Yes. Okay? Sifat are characteristics. You understand? For example, this is a gentleman named David, right? Now, this is your face, this is your hand, this is one. If I cut your hand off, it will not exist anymore, right? Because that is now cut off from your body, right? This is you, understand? Allah has sifat that are not like humans. They're not like us. Laysa kamithlihi shay. But He has sifat that He told us about in the Quran and upon the lisan of the Prophet. Now let me explain those words. Allah has characteristics that He has explained in His holy book, the Quran, and upon the tongue of His Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But He is one. He's not divisible. He doesn't become into parts, not Legos. That is not the way it works in Islam. Okay? Now, any terms you didn't understand,
No,
Anthony?
I understood the terms, and I
Okay,
think
just want to be clear.
Finding them for the sake of the audience. But
Excellent.
Here's my question. At one point, you said He has sifat. These are attributes, characteristics, parts of Him.
Yep.
They're inseparable from Him.
Yep.
But you referred to them as parts. So do you believe?
I did not.
You did use the term part.
I said
said they're
sifat.
part.
I'll let
They're,
you-
they're a
but
part
I'll-
of Him.
Okay.
Okay?
So you
let's-
did use that term.
Sure, we will say sifat.
So you
That's the
would
word I
grant
can.
that at least in that sense, that Allah is not absolutely one. You don't mean He's absolutely one in the sense that He has no attributes. He has attributes.
You want me to respond?
Yes.
You see how I listen to you respectfully without interrupting you?
don't need to do that. Go
No,
ahead.
no, I do need to do that
We're
because
past that.
no, we're not because you're already interrupting.
go again.
So the
You gonna
sifat of look at this. Your own friend is telling you be quiet, man.
He's
Listen.
begging you to hurry up.
No, he's not. He's telling you to be quiet.
I'm interested in the answer. I want to.
Thank you.
And then I want to hear a response.
Okay,
it's cool.
so sifat are not things that make you more than one. This is your misunderstanding. Okay? When Allah is one, He's indivisible, absolutely one. His sifat is His. That does not make Him more than one. This is your misunderstanding. If you had studied Aqidah, and if you like to, we have durus, you can learn them, you would have known that the sifat of Allah are unique to Him and are only His and are part of Him. They are not divisible. Having sifat does not make you more than one. This is
Again, this guy Anthony Rogers, he understands this. He inherently knows this. You understand? And he's introducing this argument, deceptively, in order to try to confuse the shaykh. But the shaykh, he understands Aqidah. He's not like some Joe Blow off the street. You know what I'm saying? And even a 5-year-old can understand this concept. You understand? For example, Allah, He is Rahman, He is Rahim, He is Al-Khaliq, He is Al-Basir. You know what I mean? There's not an Allah who is Rahman only, separate from Allah who is the Rahim, a different Allah. The Rahman is different from Rahim, and a different Allah, completely different, separate Allah, Al-Haq, and a different, completely separate Allah, Al-Qudus. No, Allah is all these things and these attributes, and it's a very simple concept to get. You understand? This guy, he knows this very well because we see it in all things anyways. Anthony Rogers, he looks short to me. He has a beard. He's a white man. He's wearing a black sweater. All of these are his attributes, his descriptions. You know what I mean? But the attributes themselves are not different things. There are things that are related directly to him. But he's trying to make this confusion, not for the Muslims, but for his specific audience. You guys got to understand that, because these guys, they're Christian apologists. What you think they're making dawah to Muslims, but they're not. They're actually what they're doing is Christian retention. And they're coming up with these weird, ambiguous arguments in order to keep Christians and prevent them from becoming Muslims. You understand? That's the game. That's the whole dawah game. Anyways, continuing.
your misunderstanding. Can I finish now?
Oh, are you finished?
No, I'm not. If I was finished, then I wouldn't be talking anymore, right? Thank you. Now, if you look at any object in this worldly things, right? Like, I mean, I'm giving you just a worldly example, right? If you look at a tree, right? A tree is one. If a tree has leaves and fruits and all of that, that doesn't mean that the tree is more than one. Now, if the fruit breaks from the tree, it's no longer a part of the tree, right? Now it's no longer a characteristic of the tree itself. Understand? Allah is one. He has sifat, but that does not make him more than one. Are we clear?
We're clear on the fact
Good.
that you're saying he's one in some sense.
No, I didn't say
I
that.
do not agree that he's one in every sense. If you are saying he has actual attributes, you use the analogy of a tree. A tree is composite. It has parts. It has branches. It has leaves. I grant that if something's cut off of the tree, it's no longer part of the tree. But the tree is made up of parts. If that's what you mean by saying Allah is one, then you are saying that your God, who is one, in the sense that he's only one being, is a composite of parts. So he's not absolutely one.
Can I finish?
There is diversity in unity in your deity. Is that true?
No. Can I explain it now?
Go ahead.
All right. I give you the example of a tree, and as I said in the example, it's a worldly example to show you that something that is connected is one, and when it breaks, it's no longer one, which we have agreed to now, right? You said that if it breaks away, it's no longer going to be part of the tree. Okay, I'm glad we agreed to that. When we talk about Allah, as I've said repeatedly, he is one, and he does not divide. Okay? This is unique to Allah. Allah is uniquely one. He is only one. His sifat do not make him more than one. He is not divisible. He's not broken into parts. He is one. His sifat are part of that oneness. He is uniquely one.
Right.
See, I like David. David got it.
All you're saying, though, is that he is a composite being that cannot be divided. The sifat cannot be separated from him. I'm granting that. You're still saying he's a composite being.
Okay.
There's no objection here yet. I'm just saying.
Could I
do
just
you
offer
grant
clarification?
Sure.
Yeah, because
You grant that.
Yeah, what I'm hearing. So, if you, as you pointed out, a tree is one tree.
Okay.
A tree is one tree, but you could say the tree is one in the essence of being a tree or something like that.
Okay.
But it's more than one in cells or leaves or something like that. So it's a kind of unity and plurality or something like that. So I think all Anthony is saying is Allah like that, in that he's one in essence or nature or something like that, but more than one in attribute or
And I'm not objecting
something
to
like that.
I understand.
I'm not objecting.
I think, yeah,
I'm just
that's-
clarifying.
I'm going to
That's where we
listen
are.
first.
Yeah. So that's not an objection. So it's not like you need to think.
I'm just
and I don't
listening.
think you'd be. I don't think you'd be dishonest. So that's not what I'm suggesting here. But that, I don't think that you need to think, okay, what is he after here? Like he's going after this. I'm not going after that. I don't think a lot of Muslims know that, and I think that's accurate. I think that Muslims believe in one being, but they do ascribe to him certain attributes, qualities, characteristics, all hearing, right, all seeing, those sorts of things. But that technically is not belief as you'd find in pagan philosophers in a monad, which is something that's devoid of any kind of attributes. It's an absolute unity.
Okay. So, first thing, I just wanted to understand what you're saying. If you're saying Allah has sifat, then no doubt we agree. And I have taught Aqidah, you can look at the lessons, it talks about it, right? Allah is all hearing, all seeing. But I think what the miscommunication we're having, and maybe we just kind of go past this, is thinking if somebody's all hearing and all seeing and all knowing, that can somehow make them components that could be taken apart or not a whole as one. I don't think having the ability to hear everything and see everything makes Allah, where Allah is not wholly one. Okay, so, but anyway.
So let me,
go ahead.
Can I ask? So, but you would say that his hearing is not his seeing.
Yes.
Right. So these are distinct attributes. So we are talking
Of one Allah.
right. So Allah
And
is one, but he has these attributes.
And these attributes don't leave him.
Okay. Now that's where.
Now you see where this is going now, right? Because again, this is what these types do. So when you meet these types, it no longer becomes about DAWAH anymore, because you're not making DAWAH to these types. You're making DAWAH to your audience now. You understand? Like he's out here saying you're not saying that, you're saying that Allah's hearing is distinct from his seeing, and the Sheikh said yes, because the reality is everybody's hearing is distinct from everybody's seeing. You know what I mean? You don't put glasses on your ears. You don't put headphones on your eyes. He's just playing semantic games because he wants to, again, make it a parallel between Jesus being an attribute of God himself, like the whole Trinity thing. That's what he's trying to get at, right? So he understands, he knows, but he's trying to do the impossible here. You feel me? And it's not something that's difficult to understand. He knows what he's doing, right? But again, it's for his audience.
I'd like to go after that.
Okay, so I mean, you asked me about Islamic Aqidah, right? In Islamic Aqidah, Allah, his attributes are his. He can I finish?
Yeah.
Man, you are high. You drank a lot of coffee this morning or something, man?
No. Yesterday we were talking to Hebrew Israelites and it turned into a shouting match.
I'll tell you what.
His aggression's a little amped up.
So hold on, Anthony. You're not talking to Hebrew Israelites. Your aggression needs to get toned down.
That's not aggression. You're just taking too much offense.
Your friend that's with you just called it aggression.
Yeah.
So don't tell me.
He was talking to Hebrew Israelites last night.
You guys video this, right? David is telling you it's aggression, so please tone it down, Anthony. From your friend.
He's helping.
Your friend is telling you calm down. Why don't you listen to your friend that came with you?
You look like you're ready to jump over the table, man.
Right? I like David. David, how come we haven't met earlier, man? Anthony, I can tell you were a crook.
I can tell you were a shooter.
Oh yeah, still am. Let's go.
You're a crook.
So that's what they called you, right? Go ahead. What?
Mr. Hammer Time, you two keep bumping fists over here. I'm just.
We can bump fists.
No.
I got you, bro. Don't feel offended. All right.
It's going well.
So do you remember where we're at?
Yes, I do. Don't worry. Okay. So the understanding that you are bringing is not where I'm at, but we're going to put that to a side and just go to, let me finish. Again, man, this guy.
My finger up.
I got you.
What
Okay.
understanding?
Let me give it to you. Let me tell you. Let me speak and you'll know what I mean.
Okay.
When you say something is one and you say they're compartmentalized, they're taken off parts, right? It comes to an understanding something that becomes like Legos, right? Something that can come apart and put back together, right? Allah is one. His characteristics are with him, always been with him, always will be with him. He can reveal, oh, you're smiling already, look at that, right? He can reveal a part of his kalam, for example, the Quran, but the Quran is always with him. You understand? Like, if you take what's written, that is not the part of the kalam. That can be burnt, that can be ruined. Somebody could eat it, somebody could do something weird, right? But the kalam of Allah is always with him. Always will be, not created. Okay? None of Allah's sifat are makhluk. You know what makhluk is? Creation.
Yes.
Creation. All right? So, this is just the understanding we want to have as a base. Now, my question to you guys, if you don't mind, is do you believe God is one in the sense that he can become two and come back together, and would he still be the same?
So this is why I do this. This is why I clarify this.
All right, good.
And that's the point. That's what he's trying to get out. And the Sheikh broke it down beautifully.
You have described Allah as one, although that does not preclude that he has sifat, attributes.
Which would not
Christians have classically made the same claim.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think a lot of Muslims know that this is the Christian view. So that, for example, at least with respect to the attributes of God, I mean, I think we go a bit further though. But when it comes to the person of the Trinity, your description of attributes,
come.
Your description of sifat.
Come, man. You look like you're bored, man. Come here. You're looking around, looking at.
Your description of sifat.
You got three guys.
Assuming I'm understanding you correctly, and I'm granting there's a possibility there's a.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know, he's playing for the camera.
It's not three of you here? Can you not count? Or is it one of you guys? I'm trying to understand. Go ahead.
So when Christians speak of God as triune,
okay,
we don't think of the persons as divisible.
Okay.
There's a hypostatic distinction. Now, if you're familiar with Islamic kalam, you know that when Muslims classically have spoken of Allah's attributes, they've referred to them as hypostasis. They've given them hypostatic status. That's all Christians have ever said when it comes to the persons of the Trinity. So that for Christians, the persons of the Trinity are not divisible. We don't believe in multiple gods. We're not polytheists.
Okay.
We believe that all persons of the Trinity co-inhere in the one divine essence, just like you would say that multiple attributes co-inhere in one being.
What did Brother Bilal tell you? What did I just tell you? I knew, see? That's where he was going with that.
Now, I do think, though, there's a fundamental distinction between the Christian view and the Muslim view, which is there does seem to me, in some Islamic thought at least, and you could tell me this is not your view, there seems to be a radical bifurcation between Allah and his attributes. So, for example, I'll just give you an example. You can tell me what you think of that. Some Muslims I talk to will tell me that Allah himself cannot be present in his creation, but his attributes can. The attribute of seeing, for example. So that's just.
Let me. You want me to answer you?
Yes.
See how
that's where we're at, and that's where.
Do you see how I respectfully, even though I had a lot to say, I just stayed quiet and listened to you? Did you see that?
Yeah, we're past that. Come on.
We're not because. Okay. So, first thing, your delving in kalam to me is useless, right? Because I don't believe in ilm al-kalam. Okay?
But I'm saying I thought that was your view, and you could correct me if that's not your
I
view.
do not believe in ilm al-kalam, so obviously that's not my view.
But I'm just using kalam in the sense of theology, like aqid.
Do you know what kalam is?
Yeah.
What is kalam?
Well, it's philosophy, but
No, it's not.
but
That's falsafa.
well, but it's.
So you don't know what
it's
kalam
the
is.
same idea.
It is not.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
What is kalam?
Go ahead.
Listen, Anthony, what is kalam? Because you brought it up, but obviously you don't understand what kalam is. What is kalam?
I'm just using it in the sense of people.
I understand you're using
issues
it.
of Islamic aqidah and coming to certain conclusions. I know that your methodology would be Quran and Sunnah. That's how you derived your aqidah.
Anthony, you brought up kalam. I'm just asking you, what is kalam? Ilm al-kalam. What is it? It's not, philosophy is falsafa. So what's ilm al-kalam?
They're related concepts.
What are,
Basically theology.
it is not.
From a Christian perspective, that's how we view it.
It's kalam, as you're using it, understanding Islamic aqidah, right? What is kalam?
But that's what I'm telling you.
You don't know.
He's saying that's how he's using it.
Okay, I got you. So let me explain it to him now.
You go ahead.
Anthony, you good? All right. So, philosophy is called falsafa. That's basic philosophy. Kalam is use of certain Greek principles, not philosophy in general, understand? In the use of understanding aqaid, and this is something that was brought on by the Asharis and the Maturidi and Ahlul Kalam. You know who those are? You know what Asharis are?
Yes.
Who started the Asharis?
Ashari.
What's his name? Ashari.
That's his name. I don't
What's
know.
his
I couldn't
name?
say his full name. You know you guys have like mile-long names.
No, Abul Hassan Ashari. It's pretty easy. It's not a mile long.
Well, it's his
Yeah.
name is Al-Ashari.
Yeah, that's a tribe.
And he was reacting against people like the Hanbalis, or allegedly. Athari Akida.
All right.
Am I correct?
No, but let me explain it.
He is trying to. Well, I know that you guys would say the original Al-Ashari. So let me ask this.
Go ahead.
I think maybe you would hold the position that Al-Ashari originally held more of a Hanbali-like approach, and then people later said something else.
Now let me explain this. Hanbali, if you're talking about the madhab in fiqh,
But I'm thinking of their Aqidah. More
okay, so then you're talking about the Athari Hanbali Aqidah, right?
Yes.
So that was the original Aqidah from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and that's what I follow today. Okay?
Now, what's going on here is that you can tell that Anthony Rogers, he went on Google or something, and he studied some Islamic terminology on Google, and he's bringing it to the Sheikh, trying to pretend like he understands what he's talking about. He really doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He will seem like a knowledgeable person in front of Christians who don't know these terminologies. You feel me? Because he really doesn't understand Ilm al-Kalam. It's obvious. He just went and said that, Abu Hassan al-Ashari went to refute the Hanbalis. Like, what? You know what I mean? It's just insane. It's insane. But anyways, why is this important? Is because when you're, like I said, when you're making dawah, you have to know who you're talking to, right? These particular people, they themselves, they did not come to learn anything. They came with their cameras and their camera crews in order to get footage to cut and paste. I promise you they're going to do this. They're going to cut it, chop it up, and present their footage to their own people, right? All edited and whatnot, to present it to them as you know, we blasted the sheikh, or we caught him in a lie or something like this. This is what they're going to do, I promise you, because you can see right now the sheikh is just, you know, mashallah, the sheikh is like, you know, he's trying to discourse with them civilly. He's saying, listen, you speak and then I speak. You can't just keep talking over me. You have to allow me to answer and all these type of things. You have to answer questions. He's telling them this stuff. They didn't come there for that. That's why they brought 3 of them. You see what I'm saying? So, whatchamacallit, Anthony, he's doing his job for the cameras. You see what I'm saying? Bring up these Arabic terminologies to make it look like he understands what he's talking about. And he doesn't, because he didn't study Islam. Even his pronunciation is way off anyways. But anyways, continuing.
So I don't follow ilm al-kalam at all. In Aqidah, I don't deal with it. When these Greek ideas started to seep in, do you understand? Then at that time, people started to misunderstand sifat by using ilm al-kalam. Okay? Even Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, and that's why I asked you if you really know who he is, he wrote a book called Al-Diyana Al-Ibana fi Usul al-Diyana. I have it. If you want to check it out, I'll bring it.
I think we're moving.
Yeah, we're just moving it off.
Move this?
We got it. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Here, you guys get it?
Just so you know, it sounds to me like you described ilm al-kalam just how I'm using it. I'm not saying you adopt that.
All right.
I'm just saying this is an area, this is part of that area of discussion.
So maybe David understood me, because obviously you didn't. So let me explain it again. Okay? You with me now?
Yeah.
Philosophy is falsafa. Okay? In Arabic, that's what we call philosophy. Ilm al-kalam is a totally different concept. It's a concept of taking certain principles of Aristotle's thought and bringing it in to understand the sifat of Allah. This is something that was rejected by all the earlier ai''imah, like Abu Hanifa. You know Abu Hanifa? You know the 4 imams?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Well, it might take me a second. Abu Hanifa, Ahmed bin Hanbal.
All right, you got 2. Shafi'i, 1 more.
Shafi'i, hold on.
You got this, Anthony. You can do it.
I don't pretend to study fiqh, just so you know.
Well, you
Just so
see.
you know.
Okay. Well,
I got 3.
we're talking about Aqidah here.
Hanafi.
Nope, you already said Abu Hanifa.
Hanafi.
Yeah. I'll help you.
Hanbali, Shafi.
Maliki, come on.
Oh, David, for the rescue.
would've got it.
You got to thank him for that one. Come on, man. Right,
That
all right.
reminds me of king in Arabic,
All right.
and I think it's similar in
Okay, so now, that use of kalam is something that was rejected by all of them. Okay? So leave kalam out of it. In the discussion, no kalam. Okay? Now, even if we took those do not separate God from his creation, right? Meaning that Allah is separate. They don't separate parts of his sifat to go on. He can see, but that doesn't mean that he's a part of his creation. Okay? Just because you see something doesn't mean you're a part of that. Okay? Now,
Yeah, this is an important thing, which there's no doubt that these guys understand. You know what I mean? They're trying to say that the attributes of Allah are in the creation, right? Because Allah sees, and he sees his creation, therefore he's in his creation. Therefore, Jesus can be a part of God. That's their whole line of logic here. Meanwhile, it just comes crumbling down. If you see a car, you become the car. If you hear the car horn, do you become the car horn? Come on, man. You know what I mean? The whole thing is just nonsense. But the sheikh, mashallah, he's being nice. But you know me, I'm not really that nice.